Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Matthew's Sports Talk. I know it's been a while. It was a disappointing day yesterday for the Vikings. And very rarely can we say that there was one particular aspect, or in this case, one particular player that cost them the game, but damn Bailey, you missed 3 field goals and an extra point for a total of 10 points. Had you made all of those, we would have been, within. We would have only lost by 2 points, and we would have very much been in it near the end of the game. Outside of that, that's the only real thing that I can focus on. Because, there was a lot of things that didn't go our way. A couple bullshit defensive penalties called against us. So yeah, it was really disappointing. But you can't put on Kirk Cousins. He was 24 for 37 for 225 yards and a touchdown. Dalvin Cook ran for 102 yards and a touchdown. Only player this year that's run for more than 100 yards against, or I forget what the highest number was before, but he ran it down the Buccaneers' throat. So I'm sorry, Buccaneers, but if this was supposed to be a statement win, it definitely wasn't. And I don't know. Later on, I'll get into the fact that I still don't know who the fuck's going to win the NFC. I know now in the AFC, it's going to be either the Chiefs or maybe the Bills. Probably isn't going to be the Steelers anymore, but yeah, get into all that more later on. So yeah, disappointing, but still got a chance. Fortunately, it's pretty much you gotta win out and hope for some luck at this point. But still got a chance. So as long as you got a chance, you gotta fight. So looking back at the other games, go back to Thursday night. The Rams beating up the Patriots 24-3. And I am so happy because I picked up the Rams defense on not one but both of my fantasy teams. And they had 20 fantasy points for me on Thursday night. So I feel fantastic about that. And Max Kellerman, the day of that game, said the Patriots would have upset the Rams very easily. Max Kellerman, you don't know a damn thing about football. You should just stop talking about football because you don't know a damn thing about it. So that's all I have to say about that. And the Patriots are probably going to miss the playoffs for the first time in forever. So, yep, there's that. The Bears finally found their offense. Of course, it doesn't really mean much because it was against the Houston Texans, which should beat 36-7. Cowboys beat the Bengals 30-7. Big whoop. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins 33-27 on a day where Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions. He also almost threw for 400 yards, and he still won the game. The Chiefs they are demigod-like. I don't know how else to describe it. No other team would be able for their quarterback to throw 3 interceptions and win a game. I don't see another team doing that. So I don't know what else to say about that. It's just freaking insane. But the Cardinals beat up on the Giants 26-7. Broncos beat the Panthers 32-27. Titans beat up the Jaguars 31-10. The Colts beat up on the Raiders 44-27. You know, Raiders, you're starting to look pretty bad. I, for a long time, thought the Raiders were going to be up there and possibly could challenge the Chiefs for the AFC West, but now they look god-awful, especially on defense, and they fired their defensive coordinator, so, yeah, there's that. The Seahawks beat the Jets 40-3. Big whoop, Seahawks, big whoop. Packers beat the Lions 31-24. So as it stands right now, the Packers are the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they just beat the Lions by a touchdown? You see what I mean? But I'll get into that. And then here's the big shocker of the day. The Eagles won a game. But who was it against? The New Orleans Saints. They won 24-21. Carson Wentz was sat down and Jalen Hurts was in. And they won against the Saints. You see, the NFC, I'll talk about more in just a second. But this is why my head explodes when it comes to the NFC. Each week there seems to be a new team that is on the top. And then the next week, it's another team. And then the next week, it's another team. It's just so damn confusing. Chargers beat the Falcons 20-17. Big whoop. The Washington football team is now in first place of the NFC East at 6-7, beating the 49ers 23-15 in a game they didn't have a single offensive touchdown. Oh, the NFC East. Oh, that's another headache. But anyway. And then, on Sunday Night Football, the Bills, with a statement win, beat the Steelers 26-15. Steelers are looking very, very unimpressive on offense. And on defense, it's clear that they can't stop the deep throw. So, yeah. Got one more game on tonight. A very, very interesting game. You got the Ravens at the Browns. It's a toss-up, really. I think either team could win. I think Baltimore has a slight advantage. So, yeah, there's that. But going back, let me talk about how I think, what I think about this playoff picture that stands right now. Let's start with the NFC. At the number 1 seed currently is the Green Bay Packers. At the number 2 seed, New Orleans Saints. Number 3 would be the Los Angeles Rams. Number 4, Washington. Number 5, Seattle. Number 6, Tampa Bay. And number 7, Arizona. With us, Chicago, San Francisco, and sure, I'll throw the Giants in there on the outside looking in. So let's analyze the top. Let's analyze all. No, let's do this. Let's analyze all the teams that are currently in position to make the playoffs in the NFC. Let's start at the bottom. Let's start at the number 7 seed, the Arizona Cardinals. They're good on offense, but it has been shown that Kyler Murray can be stopped, and their defense is somewhat sketchy. That's why I don't see the Cardinals, if they make the playoffs, making a very, very big run. They might win one game, but that probably is it. Then you go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Been very, very inconsistent. Tom Brady has shown his colors that deep passes are a problem from him. He actually made a few yesterday, but where was that before? So yeah, and it's clear that their defense isn't the juggernaut defense that people thought that it would be. Then you got Seattle, which is god-awful on defense, and it's been clearly shown that Russell Wilson, when pressured without a running game, it's just a nightmare. He gets pressured and he throws interceptions and turns over the balls. So that's why I don't trust the Seahawks to make a deep run. Then you got the Washington football team, who, is the king of the garbage currently in the NFC East. Their defense looks very, very good and can clearly stop people, but if it comes down to their offense, they're not going to win football games. That's the way it is. Then you got the Los Angeles Rams, who, in my opinion, is the most complete team in the NFC. But they've been inconsistent at times. And it's not really so much a problem on the defensive side, it's the offensive side. Jared Goff is turnover prone. That's the sad news. He's turnover prone. So if he's going to be forced to throw the ball, they're going to be in trouble. Then you got the Saints, which I thought for a while it looked like the Saints were the clear favorites, but as it's been clearly shown, you can stop them. You can stop the Saints. And, I mean, honestly, even when they had Drew Brees, there was sometimes they didn't look good. So the Saints are a little bit of a question mark right now. Then you got the Packers, who, yes, Aaron Rodgers is great. And yes, he can make stuff come out of his ass because he doesn't have a whole lot of playmakers around him on offense. But their defense is substandard. It's been shown. Like my man, Dalvin Cook. He can run right through the damn Packer defense. So, I just... reiterating the question. If you're going to ask me, who do I think is going to come out of the NFC? I have no fucking clue. No fucking clue. If I had to choose a team, I would say the Rams. Because they're the most complete team. But I'm uneasy about that because it's been shown that they're inconsistent. So, yeah, it is what it is. Now, flipping over to the AFC. The Chiefs are the clear favorite, but they've played a lot of close games. And I don't know why. So many of the games that they played close, they could have blown the door wide open. Like a game not this week, but the previous week against the Broncos. They were in the red zone so many times and they settled for field goals. You see what I mean? And yes, Patrick Mahomes can have a bad day and still win a game. But eventually that magic is not always going to be there. Eventually something will happen and that will turn. So then you got the number 2 team right now is Pittsburgh, but you know what? I think it's clearly evident that Pittsburgh's weaknesses have been shown, and I think teams are going to run with that. So I think Pittsburgh's in trouble, not only to get the top seed, but to even win their division. Because guess what? They're at 11-2. Same right behind them is Cleveland at 9-3. If they win tonight, Cleveland's only a game behind them. So yeah, it's it's a scary thought. Pittsburgh, it's a scary thought. Buffalo now. Buffalo could beat the Chiefs. But if you asked me at the beginning of the season who I thought was going to win the AFC, and it turns out to be Buffalo, I would have smacked you silly. But you know what? Josh Allen looks like a top-tier quarterback all of a sudden. I don't know how. He's got the playmakers on offense, and their defense shows that they can get the ball away from the other team. And then you got the two teams in the AFC South where both are dangerous. The Titans and Colts are both dangerous. If there was one team I would to fear more, it would probably be the Colts because of their defense. The Titans don't scare me a whole lot on defense, and their offense is really reliable on Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry can be stopped, then they really aren't as effective on offense. So, but I don't think either of those teams would challenge the Chiefs. Then you got the Miami Dolphins, who it's clear their defense is really, really good as from yesterday. But you can see that the other team can turn over the ball 3 times and still beat the Dolphins. That's a problem. So, and then the Raiders are they're declining. They're on the decline. And then you got the two teams. You got the Browns, who finally had a real win last week against the Titans, but I think tonight's game is going to say a lot. If they can beat the Ravens tonight, I think that says a lot about them. And then you got the Ravens, who originally was going to be a team that would be the Chiefs' equal in the conference, but it's clear that they're clearly having a down season. So I still say, if I was right now, I would say my Super Bowl matchup would be Chiefs and Rams. The Chiefs, I would say I have about 90% confidence that they'll reach the Super Bowl. The Rams, it's like 55. I'm way more confident about picking the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl than I am the Rams going to the Super Bowl. Just because the whole NFC has been inconsistent. So, there's that. Excuse me. Moving on. You got... Oh, fantasy football talk. So, the playoffs started in fantasy football. My first team, the Minneapolis Skull Squad, is the 4th seed. I'm playing the 1st seed. And right now, I am winning 123-88. Now, playoffs are 2 weeks. So I still have one more week against this opponent. But I got a 35-point edge. And, you know, hey, look, a lot of my players didn't really have good games. Patrick Mahomes, for example, still had 18.6 fantasy points after throwing 3 interceptions because he almost threw for 400 yards. So, my man Chris Carson, though, 18.8 fantasy points. I did appreciate that. And then, of course, Tyreek Hill, 26.1 fantasy points. Thank you. Justin Jefferson, 9.9. Yeah, not great. Chase Claypool, he has really declined. Only 4.5 fantasy points, which is disappointing. But, like I said, I got the Rams defense, and they got me 20 fantasy points. So, happy about that. And then my second team, the Minnesota Kings, didn't really matter much. I think I'm like, the 6th seed, I want to say? Yeah, I'm the 6th seed. Currently down 124-101. Deshaun Watson, 16.5 fantasy points. Very, very pedestrian. Nyheim Hines, 11.5. Robert Tonyan, 14.6. Cooper Kupp, 14.3. Rams defense, 20 points. I did leave a lot of points on the bench, which I'm pissed about. Brandon Ayuk, I left on the bench. He got 21.9. And Keelan Cole Sr. got 19.7. So, yeah, it was disappointing for sure. I could have probably gotten. But that definitely make me think about next week. So yeah. Oh. Got the NBA season starting back up again. So pretty soon I'll be able to talk Timberwolves. So that is another aspect of my show that I'll be able to start talking about. So yeah. Probably won't make one more episode this week. Hopefully. I'm going to try. For sure. So that, I guess, concludes this episode. So until next time, it's Matthew signing off.